Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Monday, we're right back to the top of the workshop looking at the second best performing map of the moment, and it's this one. It is a fantasy map based on a real life location that never existed in a fantasy style. Does that make any sense? Probably not. But yes, this is a map from a book which was originally in a real map. That's how it works. We're following that one up with the longest waiting request map, an old fan of the show and an old fan of theirs as well. Their last time round got 14 stars. Can they follow that up with 14 stars today? We have long to wait, but before we do any of that, I have a daily reminder for you. Here's a daily reminder for you. That's right, having a daily reminder for you is a very good way of reminding you daily. That's a daily reminder for you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Today's first map is Jules Verne's Mysterious Island by GWJ Feeank, or I'm just going to call him Feeank from now on because GWJ is probably an affiliation. It's fine. You're allowed that. Start square, we've got a little highway at the bottom, we've got a little bit of river at the top, and some map. And then we've got all of the map. Actually, terrain heights is pretty buildable. It's been just adjusted a little bit more about that in a moment. Resources, reasonable. I mean, not the most exciting, but reasonable. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, a fishing map is a little bit okay as well. Off to the workshop. Off to the workshop. What we love the thumbnail, by the way. Very nice thumbnail work today. We'll be using the vanilla temperate theme with the realistic 1.2 LUT today, and there's even a little shout out to BonBon at the bottom of the description here for my how to upload to the workshop tutorial, which I'm very proud of. So thanks for shouting that one out. You can see they've made a couple of maps before. Neither one has been reviewed on the show yet. That doesn't mean it won't ever happen. So, yes, we've got a map which is inspired by Jules Verne's masterpiece from the Mysterious Island. That's the English version. L'Île Mystérieuse, I think, is probably the best way I can butcher that in French. You may notice some trees poking through the road. Of course, we are playing 100% vanilla, so these trees will not show through if you're playing 100% vanilla, but they are under the road, so I will always show them if that's the case. Now, the original map, as drawn by Jules Verne himself, it looks a little bit like that. In fact, it looks exactly like that. You can see we've taken the original. There's obviously no actual height map for this. We have a draw. Say we, not we. Feeank has drawn it out by hand. Done a very good job of actually drawing it out by hand, and made it a bit more playable by making a little bit more buildable space here and there, shortening the serpent's tail, and it's pretty reasonable. I would say a pretty reasonable recreation. No grumbles from me with that one. Now, if you've read the book, apparently you will recognize some of the locations on the map. I have not read the book, so I can't tell you anything about Granite House, the Chimneys, or Dakar Crypt. But what I can tell you is, for a vanilla fantastical style map, you can see we've got a little bit of a up and down there with the rail just followed the curvature of the hill. So true realists won't be big fans of this, but this is a fantastical map. Okay, now the thing is, this map originally was let's just check the bridge. The bridge looks okay, but originally inspired Jules Verne to write. Again, everything I'm spouting here is from is from the description or from Wikipedia. But yes, this actually appeared on the maps. It actually did appear on real maps. One of those phantom islands that people just assumed was there and isn't. Start square intersect. You know what? I really like the way that's worked. Tapered into the environment beautifully to allow us. Oh yeah, I've seen that done really badly in the past. That's been done really quite nicely. So credit for the start square intersection, and plenty of room to get building in that area as well. So good. Anyway, real life location for this map, if there was actually a real life location, is, well, I say just south you know what I mean by just south. In the grand scheme of things, quite a long way south, but south of Iceland, up there in the North Atlantic. Now this bridge is a bit wonky. Okay, now while I gave credit for the first bridge, I gave credit for the intersection, I can't give credit for that. That is just a bit wonky. And the best case scenario is it's wonky. The worst case scenario, it's not the best. It's really not. And again, forget about the trees under the road. That's down to an anarchy setting. I use anarchy. Shows the bridges shows the trees under the road, so you can see how many are hidden away. It's all part of the tree count, as always. Not that tree count is a problem either on this map. It is underneath the tree limit, which is all we can ask for. Loving this viaduct, by the way. That's a very nicely done viaduct. I buy into that one 100%. And it just the highway carries on. I'm sure there isn't a highway in Jules Verne's version of this, but you're not supposed to build on Jules Verne's version of this map, are you? Really? Not really. Anyway, we're using all of liking the use of the vegetation on the ground there as well. It's a bit patchy, but actually I'm okay with it. It works for me on a vanilla style build like this one. It would have been a bit bland, that area, without. And thank you for riding through my living room there, Mr. Motorbike. I'm not sure if that's on the BonBonBingo cards, but if you're playing BonBonBingo and you've got motorbike ride through living room, then you can check that one off, because that was very much through the living room. Anyway, yeah, it's quite a pleasing landscape. I'm not saying the most inspiring, the most exciting, but if in terms of being inspired, the big thing is, if you've read the book, I'm sure you're looking at this map going, I've got to build on this. Good. Go ahead, fill your boots. This is exactly what the map's been done for. And as a recreation of the mysterious island, it's a pretty decent one. But yeah, the rail here, I mean, most of the rest of the map, it might be a little bit bumpy here and there, but most of the rest of the map I'm okay with. But in terms of rail going over that hill, I think we should have gone for a tunnel or a big old cutting, or maybe gone around it, or maybe not bothered, just ignored it. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic shaped island, almost biological. Like we've got the feathers running down this way. The shape down there is, and loads of buildable space. Come on, loads of buildable space. I'm having trouble seeing how I'd be inspired to build on here, personally. This is just me. But there is plenty of space, and I can imagine there's definitely a lot of you out there who'll be looking going, no, I've got exactly the plan for this. And good, you've got a better imagination than me. We've got a big diamond style lake in the middle there, which is, again, it breaks things up nicely, and that's the sort of thing that helps to shape two motorbikes running through my living room. You don't check it off once, by the way. I think that's called Shark Creek, that watery inlet there. Then we have, it's a volcano. You can see a lot of volcanoes this week, by the way, folks. It's a volcano, and a few rivers trickling down the sides of the volcano, and I think they've been done to a reasonable standard. Now we do have Lincoln Island here with the longitude and the latitude. I'm sure if you really wanted to look this up, you could. No shipping goes through any of those letters, and they've been done sharply and crisply, much better than some other maps that I've seen similar tricks done. We've got a waterfall going on here that is just struggling a little bit. It's just a wee bit of a struggling waterfall there. The river from that point upwards, I don't have a problem with. It's quite a straight river whilst also being a bendy river. That is an art in itself, to get the balance just right between one and the other. Whilst over here we've got a waterfall which is the opposite way. This one, it's pretty odd. We've got a nice curtain, but look how it's splaying. I was going to say spewing. Look how it's splaying from the top. Yeah, I think that works. I think. Some spray at the bottom would be great, to be honest. We've got, do you know what? If this is south of Iceland, I buy into this as Icelandic sort of texturing going on. I know vanilla temperate theme isn't the most pretty, but I'm looking at that thinking, yeah, it's a bit, yeah. Oh, we've got some trees in the rivers as well, by the way. But yeah, they don't need their trunks on. It's not deep enough. These guys need their trunks on. Having a little paddle out at sea. But yeah, it's a map that I can believe in. I'm guessing that at the top of the that little mountain there on the tail there, I'm guessing that's a Dakar crypt. I'm guessing. I don't know. I literally don't know. I know nothing. Very little anyway. Anyway, as a fantastical map, I'm liking the shape of this. I think it's an inspired idea to take on a location like this, and I think they've done a pretty reasonable job of it. So you can take a little bow for that one, Feeank. You really can. But the question is, not what do I think of it, what do you think of it? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now at the top of your screen, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free, but make sure you vote on the correct map because we have 2 maps. Right, so first up, what do I think of Jules Verne's Mysterious Island by GWJ Feeank? I think it's a pretty good rendition of a fantasy map. But I'm not really seeing 4 stars as an overall score. I'm just not. I'm going to go at the top end of 3. I've got to reward it because I think it's a pretty decent effort. But I'm not seeing a 4 star, so a high 3. Detailing, it's okay. It's okay. It's not. It's above 2 stars. I don't know if we're quite middle 3. Let's go just slightly below middle 3, but it's solid enough. As is gameplay. Again, I'm not inspired, so I can't really go much higher than the slightly above middle 3, but I think it's a decent take, and there will always be somebody who wants to build on Jules Verne's Mysterious Island by Feeank, and if you do, I'm sure Feeank will love you for it. Share the screenshots. That's what screenshots help. Anyway, sirens just before the intermission. Here they come. And back to the second half of today's show. Yes, those sirens definitely on the BonBonBingo cards. For those of you that like it, link is in the description for BonBonBingo. Right, okay, so today's second map is by a creator who we've done 3 times in the past. Episode 1344, 1351 and 1398, where they got 12 stars, then 12 stars, then 14 stars. Today's map is a creation for a community of builders who wanted a very specific sort of map built, and who better than DeaconPmp to make it for you. It's a Cape Undu basic by DeaconPmp, which to me says there's probably a more technical version. This one's just the basic version. Oh yeah, it's based on a real-life location. There's your start square. That real-life location is the easternmost point of Fiji's second largest island, Vanua Levu. There's your terrain height maps. Not much terrain. Interesting underwater detailing today. Look out for that. And then we've got strong resources across the map. Plenty of forestry as well. If you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, your fishing map is like that too, which is also quite interesting. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need today? Well, a little bit of a list. Not the world's longest list, but a little bit of a list. We've got, again, of course, a well-written description explaining everything. For those of you that sort of like go, well, why didn't you do this? Well, it wasn't made for you. It wasn't made for me. It was made for somebody else. The procedural objects is in operation today. There's not too much to check out. It's mostly about a bit of rock work here and there. But for those of you that don't have procedural objects, don't worry, your map will still load fine. You're just going to be missing a little bit of detailing here or there. In terms of the theme, we're using the Cape Undu theme made specifically for this map by Deacon. And I believe, I haven't got any note for this one, but I believe we're using the relight to average LUT. I think. Not entirely certain, but I think. If that's wrong, then I might still be using the right LUTs, but I just don't have a note, and I am now doing the voiceover of the flyover. Anyway, we've got this finger of land that goes out into the sea, which is a little bit undulatory up at this part of the map, because there is like hills and stuff. And then as we head down into the middle of the map, you get a little bit of highway, which just stops and we've got a little bit of tree detailing running down the bottom of it. The standards down here are fine. You've got road, you've got rail, and what you want to do down here is completely up to you. Now there's a minor grumble, tiny little grumble. Can you see it? Can you see it down here on the end of the rail? Look, there's a bit of a wibbly wobbly at the end of the rail. Right, so that, and then we do a little bit. There you go. Look, I don't give a monkeys. It's fine, okay? It's fine. Anyway, so and then you're into the buildable zone, which is a pretty dang neat, if I say myself. Again, it's not for me, it's not for you, it's for people that want this. The buildable space is a little bit challenging, but this was made to request, and that is, I would imagine, what they wanted. And so that's what they've got. I imagine we'll have lots of really tightly pushed together little huts and shacks and tight little avenues and stuff. I can believe it. I can believe it. And then you head down here. We've got buildable space. I'll leave these lines on for the moment so you can see there is buildable space, but there's also some challenging ridges and hills as well. So there is all of that too. Now, there's plenty of other stuff to see. I might just switch those off. Now, where to start? Where to start? You can see the sand work. Okay, sand. We've got some beaches. We've got some beaches along the right here. And actually have a look at the coast here. At the quality of the coast work is pretty decent. Okay, I'm not going to say it's the best I've ever seen, but it's pretty decent. And there are places where I will understand, with it being a volcanic area, there will be big drops. Because we do have some very clear water here, there are some big drops going. So some places you might find it a little bit not quite to your taste. Maybe. So I think there might be just a little bit of underwater terrain work. I don't mind it dropping away, but you can really see the one or two places it's just a little bit of a stretch to the imagination here and there. Plenty of underwater detailing over here. It's a little bit splodgy, but again, from a distance. Oh, look at the depth of the water. Now a motorbike. What is there with motorbikes today? Anyway, I'll start the simulation up. That's a good idea. I've got a couple of custom ships there anyway. But anyway, I kind of like the fact that it's clear. You can see the reflection and see how deep it is, and the detailing is. It's going to be to somebody's taste. I don't mind it. I don't love it. Maybe just a little bit more subtle, possibly, with those bumps and lumps under the water. Just a little, not hugely. I don't mind it. Just a little bit more subtle. Okay, so we've got plenty more things to see. It's an interesting finger of land, you know. I don't think we've had a finger. I've never had a map show us the finger before. That's for certain. Anyway. we've got underwater coral and slightly emerging coral here and there. Apparently this is, to just check my notes, the third largest coral reef in the world. Okay, we'll head off to Fiji and have a little look. Burn off all that carbon while you get over there, of course. Maybe Greta could sail you across to Fiji. I'm sure she wouldn't mind. She's got nothing better to do, would she? Anyway, so yeah, we've got the coral detailing. Let's say the underwater detailing is I don't know whether I like it or not. You can also see with the bumps on the horizon, you're probably going to want to have the fog and the distance fog switched on, so you don't see the horizon, because it's just a bit bumpy with the fog switched off. In terms of foliage and rock detailing, do you know what? Yep, I'm good with this. That's nice and sharp. Good tree coverage. Good. Got the coral. We've got some nice looking beaches. Good little bit of a ridge with the underwater. So possibly a little bit. And it's very straight as well. You don't tend to get straight lines in nature. Well, you do a few times, but maybe there is. Maybe there is a bit of a straight line there in real life. I've not been to check. Can I mark him down if I haven't checked? Probably not. Now, I do have a minor grumble. Let me start off. Hang on. We'll get there in a moment. Oh, stop it, BonBon. I'm bouncing around. What was I going to show you? I was going to... Not here. Hang on. Let's pull the camera back. Right. What I want to show you is the mountains. I don't have a save for the mountains, so I'm going to go over there manually. Oh, please, look, it's been a long weekend, okay? I'm doing my best, all right? Have a little look at the mountains. Now, have a look at the textures. The theme for the mountain is a really strong tropical theme. It made by Deacon specifically for this map, and you know what? I'm completely with especially the cliff textures and the tree coverage there looks really well. Now, back over here, this is what I wanted to do, right? Got the same cliff texture on the water's edge, and I'm not really living it quite so much. What I think we could probably have seen some of the procedural objects used along the cliff edges where there are meant to be cliff edges, because we've got a procedural object over here. There we go, this is all procedural object work here, and so maybe along the water's edges, if we'd had some cliff work like this, just to make it a little bit different from the mountains as it's in place already. This is what I'm thinking. Now, this is what I wanted to show you next. You've seen this view already. I don't mind the shapes of the terrain. Okay, ignoring I prefer to see procedural object cliffs along here, but once we get up past this location, it starts to get a bit clunky, almost what I would call unfinished. We've got a few shark's teeth along the edges, the lumps, the bumps, those telltale, yeah, those telltale tears. Oh, hell, spells, I give up. And yeah, there are some parts of the map that could just do a little bit of finishing if it wasn't for the people that actually commissioned it. Beaches are fine. That beach is fine. I have no moans with the beach. Again, I could see myself sat on that beach for about 10 minutes, then going into shade and a tequila somewhere. That would work for me. Totally buy into that as Fiji. Where it's good, it's very, very good. And where it's bad, it's not quite as good. The areas where I've said it's very, very good. The choice of the grasses down here swamps the trees. This grass is very deep. Very, very deep. So there are some... Don't get too close to the tree detailing in the grasses, okay? But again, we've got this peninsula. This is the end of the island. The peninsula. It's not an island. Well, it is an island, but it's part of a very big island. As I said earlier, the Fiji's second largest island. And again, just popping around looking at it. I quite like this, the drop off here where you got the coral works right to the edge. And again, I think that looks like a lovely snorkeling area. There are areas which look amazing, and then there are areas like here, this little nobule here, I just don't really know what to say about it. So there are some really sublime areas, and there are just one or two bits where I wonder if the map had sort of like, can you finish it like by Wednesday? And Deacon's gone, okay, you get what you get. And I think maybe that's what we have. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Deacon can let us know in the comments. So I think that's about it. It's a long finger of land in the start of the Fiji, which has got some very, very, very good bits and a few bits that probably might want a little bit of finishing. And it's not for you, it's not for me, and switch the fog on so you don't see the horizon. All of those bits of information you got from this show. But what I didn't get from you is what you think of it. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But make sure you're voting on the correct map, because there are 2 different maps. And both of them very, very interesting. I mean, really, both of them are very interesting today. Okay? What do I think of Cape Undu Basic by DeaconPmp? Well, yeah, basic. No, it's really not basic, is it? It's different. It's memorable. It's striking. Where it's good, it's very, very good. Is it 4 stars? I'm not going to forget it, and that's going to be based on the aesthetics. So, do you know what? I'm going to give it the 4th star, but only just. Detailing. Where it's good, it's very, very good, but there's a large chunk of the map that just feels not finished to me. But those aren't areas that really matter, so do they matter? Well, to me they do. So I'm going to go for a medium high-ish 3 stars. And as for gameplay, again, it's not made for me, it's not made for you, so it doesn't matter. But if it was a random map off the internet, I would say it's playable, but it's not for me. So I go, again, above middle 3. Cape Undu Basic by DeaconPmp. This is exactly what it is trying to be. That's what this map is. And if that's for you, please have fun on it, because that's what we've got. Such an array of maps. Not every map is going to be to your taste. Not every map is going to be to my taste. And maybe both maps on Wednesday will be to everybody's taste. Pick a card, any card, and maybe sometimes you'll pick an ace. Oh, by the way, treasure hunt tomorrow. Join me tomorrow night, 9 PM UK time, for a live scout around all of those maps that don't have thumbnails. So maybe some of them might turn out to be gold. Thanks for watching.